Kevin Naughton claims ex-girlfriend Glory Jackson stabbed him in the arm. Kevin says Glory freaked out when he denied being the father of her child.
This doesn't say we're on the phone with your sister.
He said, I did not know you were on the phone with your sister.
And telling her your business. This doesn't say you were on the phone with your sister during the course of the incident.
That's what he's talking about in the letter.
Listen to me. That's not what it says. What else do you want to say?
I guess that's it.
No, not you.
Oh.
You.
I was on the telephone with her when I heard his voice, and I was asking her who that was. And she told me his name, and I said, who? She said, it's the guy that his relative lives next door to my mom.
Yes.
And I said, oh, okay, because I had met him before.
Yes.
And then, but he was cursing and yelling and everything in the back, and I was asking her why. Then the phone dropped, and it went dead. So I was on the telephone with her.
You didn't hear anything of this incident, is that right?
No, I heard him cursing at her, calling her the B word, slut, and all those type of things. Yes, I did.
Go ahead.
All right, I was gonna say that she stabbed me so hard the knife broke. So it wasn't like I just ran into it. She came like this.
Did you go to the doctor after this assault? Not you. Okay. I know you did. Did you go to the doctor after this assault?
No, I was arrested.
Well, when you're arrested, they take photographs of you if you have bruises on your body.
I don't have bruises. Don't usually show up till a few hours later. I didn't have any bruises.
You mean he was punching you and hitting you and you didn't have any marks?
No.
Mm-hmm. You have a police report, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see it.
You want to see my medical bills, too?
Yeah. You have any police report you want me to read?
I have a police report from a previous incident that we had.
I'm not interested in that.
Okay.
If you have a previous incident with him, madam, then you don't invite him over to your house to stay over.
I didn't invite him. He called me and asked me if he could stay there till the morning.
Huh. Did you tell him that you thought this baby was his?
No, I did not. His auntie told him that she thought that my baby was his. We were not even messing around at that time. He wanted it to be his very badly, as stated in the letter, so we can be a family, work it out. Oh. Yeah, that's what you said. You know you did.
What do you want to say, sir?
Man, I ain't never told her that. She named her last baby. She named after me, and it wasn't even mine. And this one, she's supposed to be with some Marine dude.
I told you it wasn't yours, though. So what are you talking about? I
gotta keep the players straight, folks. Gotta keep the players straight. All right, you had medical bills of $817. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,000. Your counterclaim, madam, for false arrest is dismissed. I believe that your sister's full of baloney. I don't think that your sister heard anything that involved an assault, heard anything involving punching, hitting, or whatever. She may have heard him curse at you. She may have. I mean, I read what happened on that day. According to him, he told a totally consistent story of what happened that he told today. And he told that at the point where he was bleeding from his arm. He hardly had enough opportunity to make up a good story. You, on the other hand, did. Your counterclaim is dismissed. That's all.
All right, excuse me. Step out.
She was cool at first until I said it wasn't mine, and she flipped the script.
I told him that the baby wasn't his. It was a question, but I told him that it wasn't.
I'm through with it.
He always wanted to be over there and just be with me. I don't know. I just had a baby, so, you know, we weren't finna have no sex.
I can show you my cell phone. She called me last night and at the airport.
He got his little money now. Maybe he can go get him something with his broke self.
She probably called me right after this.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Ward versus Stretch. Step forward, please.
27-year-old bill collector Lahia Ward is suing military technician Tommy Stretch for unpaid babysitting fees, lost wages, and defamation of character. Tommy claims Lahia abused his 11-month-old daughter.
Are you in the military, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
What branch of the military?
I'm in the Navy.
At the time of this incident, your daughter was 11 months old?
Yes, ma'am.
And Ms. Ward, you were a child care provider on the Navy base?
I was, yes.
It is your claim that Mr. Stretch made a report to Child Protective Services. That report, you claim, was filed maliciously by Mr. Stretch and or his wife, causing you lost income. You are suing him for that lost income and for defamation.
Correct.
Mr. Stretch says that he was obligated to file that because he felt as if his child was inadequately cared for at your facility. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
You don't deny that you filed the report?
No, ma'am, I did.
When did you bring your daughter to Mrs. Ward's home?
It was September of last year.
And how long did Miss Ward babysit for your daughter?
The original contract was for 3 days. The incident occurred in the middle of the second day.
Now, in the middle of the second day, what happened, Miss Ward?
His child was a little cranky the whole day. She was laid down for a nap.
How many other children were you caring for that day?
3.
How old were they?
2 2-year-olds and a 1-year-old.
And how many assistants did you have that day?
None.
Did you bring the baby to her house, or did your wife?
No, ma'am, my wife dropped her off.
What time?
I don't remember. I believe it was around 7:30.
And what time did you get a call that something had happened with your daughter?
My wife called me approximately between 1 and 1:30.
What time did you discover what you claim was 2 little red marks on the child's face?
At 12:30 when the child woke up from a nap.
Aside from these 2 little red marks on the child's face, I assume you have photographs of that?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see it.
I have a video.
There was something else that was discovered when you went to pick up your daughter. What was that?
After I picked her up, I noticed the bruises. I asked Miss Ward, you know, what happened. She explained to me her side of it. And
which was?
The child laid down for a nap and she had overalls on. And apparently she was very cranky. She wasn't feeling too well. So while she was getting comfortable, she laid apparently on the button on her overall. And that's what caused the 2 little marks where the
That's what you think?
Correct, that's what I think.
It's possible.
Mm-hmm.
It's also possible she got hit. Now, there were periods of time, for instance, when you went to the bathroom, that you weren't in the room with the toddlers. So it's possible that somebody else hit her. One of the other children hit her, right?
Right.
But according to what I read in the complaint, there was something else that you found. You found a bite mark.
Yes, ma'am. It was on her, I believe it was on her left forearm. I asked Miss Ward about it, why she hadn't said anything to me about it, and it was quite apparent from her response that she had no idea it was there.
How do you explain the bite mark?
When he showed me the bite mark, it did not appear to me that it was done that day.
Why?
It wasn't red. It just didn't look to me like it was done that day. I have children, and I kind of took a judgment on that. You know, at that time...
Maybe it was done the day before.
Could have possibly been.
You have other children?
No, ma'am, I do not.
All right, let me see the video, please.
Bruises from daycare on my child. Left cheek right by the eye. 2 bruises. One nearest her eye with the cut in the middle. This is the outfit she was wearing. That show that better. Daycare provider claims my daughter was sleeping in a crib, and that these buttons, which are smooth metal buttons, said she claims she slept on them, and that they bruised her face. My daughter also has on her left forearm bite marks, which are starting to go away. The other mark that was left on her is right next to her right ear and on part of her right earlobe.
Look at Mama.
Pretty little girl. Okay. You did not, I assume, bring your daughter back to Miss Ward
No, ma'am, I did
after
not.
that. So she was with you for about a day and a half. Is that right?
She left at 2:30, and our contract ended at 3:30, so almost 2 days, yes.
Okay. And at some point, you called Child Protective Services.
Yes, ma'am.
So?
Okay. He called Child Protective Service a month later. There were several discrepancies in the allegations made. On September 30th, I received a call from my monitor stating that Mr. Stretch was at the Child Resource and Referrals Office looking for daycare. At that point, he stated that his child got hurt in my home, and that day I called them to come pick up their child immediately, which was not true.
So what?
Okay.
You mean you don't think that they have the right and the obligation to call and report your negligence? Child was clearly hurt at your facility.
Right, and I don't deny that.
When you have 4 babies that you're taking care of, you need an extra pair of hands. You have an absolute right and an obligation to say, I don't think she watched my child well enough. So why are you here?
All right. On that day, the doctor advised him to take pictures and call Child Protective if he felt it was necessary. I think he noticed that the bite marks did not occur in my house, but like you said, it could have happened in my home. Okay, fine. He insinuated...
Well, listen to me. He didn't bite his daughter.
No. No, it was a child.
And it was a child, and he doesn't have any other children.
Okay.
Okay?
Anyhow, that day, he insinuated that the child was hit with knuckles when he called Child Protective Services. And another day, he said that the child looked like she was slapped. So there were several discrepancies made on what actually...
He doesn't know what happened. It happened on your watch.
Correct.
You want him to do everything right? Is that what you want?
No, I don't feel
Miss
like...
Ward, Miss Ward, I don't know why you're here, madam.
All right.
I would keep this very, very... I certainly wouldn't expose this to a national audience. Are you still doing daycare?
No, ma'am.
That's a very good thing. Your case is dismissed. That's all. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.